Hello students. Before we move on, please like, share and subscribe the channel. In one very important information, if you want notes of this video, check the download link in the description box. Thank you. Let's start. In this video, we will study BPCC-113. Understanding and dealing with psychological disorders, previous year question and most important questions. These questions are very important for your examination. If you read all these carefully, you can definitely clear the exam. Let's begin. Question 5. Discuss psychoanalysis and elucidate the stages of psychosexual development. Question explanation. This question asks for two things. First, explain what psychoanalysis is, its meaning, origin, and main concepts. Second, clearly describe the 5 stages of psychosexual development as given by Sigmund Freud, along with their psychological significance. Answer. Introduction. Psychoanalysis is a theory of personality and a method of psychotherapy developed by Sigmund Freud. It focuses on unconscious motives, childhood experiences, and internal conflicts. Freud proposed that much of human behavior is influenced by unconscious desires, especially those formed during early childhood. One key element of this theory is the concept of psychosexual development, which includes 5 stages through which a child's libido, sexual energy, develops. Main body, ache, meaning and key concepts of psychoanalysis. Psychoanalysis believes that unconscious thoughts and memories strongly influence behavior. Key components include the I, D, instincts, ego, reality, and superego, morality. It uses methods like free association, dream analysis, and transference to uncover hidden conflicts. Freud emphasized that unresolved conflicts from childhood can result in psychological disorders in adulthood. Though Freud's theory of psychosexual development. Freud proposed 5 stages of psychosexual development. Each stage is linked to the pleasure-seeking energy focused on a specific body part. Successful resolution of each stage leads to a healthy personality. Fixation can cause behavioral issues. Stage 1. Oral stage, 0 to 1 year. Pleasure focus. Mouth, sucking, biting. Key task, weaning. Fixation result, dependency, smoking, nail biting. Stage 2. Anal stage, 1 to 3 years. Pleasure focus. Anus, toilet training. Key task, developing control. Fixation result, anal retentive, obsessive, orderly, or anal expulsive, messy, rebellious, personality. Stage 3. Phallic stage, 3 to 6 years. Pleasure focus. Genitals. Key task, identification with same-sex parent. Oedipus and Electra complexes are resolved in this stage. Fixation result, vanity, recklessness, sexual identity issues. Stage 4. Latency stage, 6 to 12 years. Libido is dormant, child focuses on social and intellectual skills. No sexual urges. Energy diverted to learning and friendships. This is a resting stage for psychosexual energy. Stage 5. Genital stage, 12 years and beyond. Sexual desires reawaken, focus on mature relationships. Key task, establishing balance between various life areas, love, work, responsibilities. Successful development leads to a well-rounded personality. Teen. Applications and criticism. Psychoanalysis is widely used in clinical psychology to understand deep-rooted conflicts. However, it is criticized for being too focused on sexuality and lacking scientific evidence. Modern therapies have modified Freud's ideas but still use the concept of unconscious motivation. Conclusion. To sum up, psychoanalysis highlights the deep influence of unconscious desires and childhood experiences on behavior. Freud's psychosexual stages provide a developmental map of how personality evolves. Although some parts of the theory are outdated, it still holds relevance in understanding personality and psychological disorders. If you need the notes of this video, there's a download link in the description box. Be sure to check it out. Thank you. Let's see the next question. Question 6. Write short notes on the following in about 150 words each. A. Differences between short-term and long-term psychotherapy. B. Categories of short-term psychotherapies. Question explanation. This question asks for 2 separate short notes. First, you need to explain the key differences between short-term and long-term psychotherapy in terms of goals, duration, depth, and techniques. Second, you have to list and explain the main types or categories of short-term psychotherapies, such as CBT, interpersonal therapy, etc. Answer. Introduction. Psychotherapy refers to psychological treatment used to help individuals manage emotional and behavioral issues. It can be categorized based on the duration and focus of therapy. Short-term and long-term psychotherapies differ in approach, intensity, and intended outcome. Over time, many structured short-term therapies have evolved to provide targeted relief in fewer sessions. This answer explains these differences and introduces key types of short-term therapies. Main body. A. Differences between short-term and long-term psychotherapy. Duration and focus. Short-term psychotherapy typically lasts from 6 to 20 sessions. Long-term psychotherapy may continue for months or even years. Short-term therapy focuses on immediate problems, while long-term therapy explores deep-rooted emotional issues. Goals and depth. Short-term therapy aims at symptom relief and practical problem solving. Long-term therapy seeks personality change, deep emotional insight, and restructuring unconscious patterns. Long-term methods often involve deeper exploration of childhood and trauma. Therapeutic techniques. Short-term therapies are more structured, such as CBT or solution-focused therapy. Long-term therapies include psychoanalysis or psychodynamic approaches which are less structured and more interpretative. Client suitability. Short-term therapy is suitable for situational stress, anxiety, or specific behavioral issues. Long-term therapy is more appropriate for chronic mental health conditions like personality disorders. Example case. A person with exam stress may benefit from short-term CBT. A person dealing with unresolved childhood trauma may require long-term psychodynamic therapy. B. Categories of short-term psychotherapies. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, focuses on identifying and changing negative thought patterns and behaviors. Highly structured, often includes homework assignments. Effective in treating depression, anxiety, phobias, etc. Interpersonal therapy, IPT. A short-term approach focusing on improving interpersonal relationships and communication skills. Effective for mood disorders and grief-related issues. Solution-focused brief therapy, SFBT, focuses on the client's strengths and goals rather than the problem. Emphasizes finding quick and practical solutions. Common in school counseling and workplace settings. Mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, MBCT, integrates mindfulness techniques with cognitive therapy. Especially useful in relapse prevention of depression. Behavioral activation encourages engagement in activities to counter depression and inactivity. Simple and goal-driven, often used in clinical settings. Supportive therapy offers emotional support and coping strategies within a short framework. Useful during crises or transitions. Conclusion. Short-term and long-term psychotherapies differ in scope, method, and depth of healing. While short-term therapy is focused and efficient, long-term therapy provides a deeper understanding of the psyche. Short-term psychotherapies like CBT, IPT, and SFBT offer valuable tools for immediate relief and are widely used today. Both forms have their place depending on the client's need, severity of issues, and therapeutic goals. If you need the notes of this video, there's a download link in the description box. Be sure to check it out. Thank you. Let's see the next question. Question 7. Explain person-centered therapy. Describe the therapeutic process of this therapy. Question explanation. This question asks you to first explain what person-centered therapy is, including its origin, principles, and focus. Then, you must describe the process involved in this therapy, how it is conducted, what techniques or steps are followed, and what the therapist's role is. Answer. Introduction. Person-centered therapy, also known as client-centered therapy, was developed by the American psychologist Carl Rogers. It is a form of humanistic therapy that emphasizes the client's ability to self-heal and grow. The therapy focuses on the individual's subjective experience and inner potential rather than the diagnosis or therapist interpretation. This approach assumes that every person has the potential for personal growth, given the right environment. The role of the therapist is not to direct the client but to provide an empathetic, accepting, and genuine environment for change to occur. Main body. 8. Core concepts of person-centered therapy. Self-concept and ideal self. The therapy focuses on reducing the gap between a person's real self and ideal self. Greater the alignment, healthier the personality. Congruence. This means the therapist is genuine and transparent, which encourages the client to open up honestly. Unconditional positive regard. The therapist accepts the client without any judgment or conditions, which creates psychological safety. Empathy. The therapist deeply understands the client's feelings and perspectives and reflects them back, allowing the client to feel heard. These elements are not just techniques, but a way of being with the client. Role of the therapist. The therapist creates a non-directive environment, meaning the client leads the conversation. Rather than solving problems for the client, the therapist helps the client explore and understand their feelings. The therapist avoids interpretation or diagnosis, focusing instead on reflecting and clarifying the client's thoughts. The therapist offers empathic listening, helping the client feel valued and understood. This client-led approach empowers the individual to find their own solutions and personal growth. The therapeutic process. Initial phase. Building a trusting relationship where the client feels safe to share. Middle phase. The client explores their emotions more deeply and begins to gain insight into their problems. Later phase. Increased self-awareness, self-acceptance, and clarity about goals or decisions. The process is fluid rather than structured. It progresses based on the client's readiness and willingness to explore their inner world. Applications and effectiveness. Effective for individuals dealing with anxiety, depression, self-esteem issues, grief, and more. Can be adapted for individuals, couples, and groups. Research supports that the quality of the therapeutic relationship is a key predictor of successful outcomes in person-centered therapy. Case example. A client with social anxiety, through repeated sessions, begins to express fears without feeling judged, eventually building confidence and self-worth. Conclusion. Person-centered therapy is a powerful, non-directive approach focused on the client's potential to grow and heal when provided with the right psychological environment. With its emphasis on empathy, acceptance, and authenticity, it allows the client to move towards self-awareness and change at their own pace. In my opinion, this approach empowers individuals to take ownership of their healing, making it both respectful and effective. If you need the notes, there's a download link in the description box. Be sure to check it out. Thank you. Let's see the next question. Question 8. Elucidate family therapy. Describe the various approaches to family therapy. Question explanation. This question asks you to first explain what family therapy is, including its main goals and relevance in psychology. Then, you need to describe different approaches or models used in family therapy, like structural, strategic, or systemic approaches. Your answer should show understanding of how each model works and when it might be applied. Answer. Introduction. Family therapy is a type of psychotherapy that aims to improve communication and resolve conflicts within a family system. It views individual problems as influenced by and maintained within the family dynamics. Rather than focusing on a single person's issues, family therapy addresses the interactions among family members. Pioneers like Salvador Minuchin and Virginia Satir have significantly contributed to the development of this field. This answer will first define family therapy and then explain four major approaches: structural, strategic, Bovinian, and systemic family therapy. Main body. 1. Understanding family therapy. Family therapy is based on the systems theory, which states that a family operates as a whole system where every member affects others. The goal is to promote understanding, heal emotional wounds, and improve patterns of interaction. Sessions often involve multiple family members and focus on real-time communication dynamics. Example: a teenager with anxiety may be experiencing stress due to parental conflict. Therapy would address not just the teen's symptoms but the parent's interaction pattern. Structural family therapy, Salvador Minuchin. This model focuses on the structure of the family, how members are organized and how boundaries are maintained. Problems arise when boundaries are either too rigid, disengaged family, or too loose, enmeshed family. The therapist works to reorganize the family structure and strengthen appropriate roles and boundaries. Application. If parents are overly involved in a child's decisions, the therapist may work to re-establish a healthier boundary. Strategic family therapy, Jay Haley, emphasizes the power dynamics and communication patterns within the family. The therapist often assigns specific tasks or homework to change unhealthy behaviors. Focuses on solving problems quickly rather than understanding deep psychological causes. Example: in a family where a child refuses to go to school, the therapist may instruct the parents to change their morning routines to reduce pressure. Bovinian family therapy, Murray Bowen, centers around the concept of differentiation of self, meaning individuals should maintain their identity while remaining emotionally connected. Focuses on reducing emotional reactivity and understanding family generational patterns. The therapist encourages individuals to observe and understand their family history through genograms. Example: a client may recognize that their own anxiety mirrors that of their mother or grandmother. 5. Systemic family therapy views the family as a system where behavior is guided by patterns, rules, and communication loops. Focuses on beliefs and meanings that each family member holds. The therapist challenges fixed narratives and helps the family construct new, healthier stories. Application: useful when a family is stuck in blame games or repetitive arguments. The therapist helps shift perspectives. Conclusion: family therapy is a dynamic and holistic approach that addresses not just individual symptoms but also relational patterns within a family. Each model, whether structural, strategic, Bovinian, or systemic, offers unique tools to heal relationships and restore balance. In today's context of rising emotional stress and complex family roles, family therapy plays a vital role in psychological well-being. Before we end, please like, share and subscribe the channel. And one very important information: if you want notes, check the download link in the description box. Thank you.